Alright, we are stopped for construction here on the parks. They are replacing a couple of bridges up here. So we're going to have to wait for the pilot truck to come back this way. This is the life of summer on Alaska on the highways. Even though it's definitely trending towards fall, you can see the yellow in the trees, and you can see the fireweed over there on the side of the highway has finished dying off. So fall is here. It is the end of the season, and hopefully they get this done before winter sets in. Alright, we just stopped at the Three Bears in Trapper Creek, and I was incorrect about the bridges back there. The bridge replacement is up here in a ways. Back there they were just replacing some culverts. But it was still a little scary. I wouldn't, some of the lanes, the little one-way lanes that they had us going through back in that last construction section were narrow. Yeah, still lots of road construction going on. Alright, here is the construction zone where they are replacing the bridge. This one has a nice little bypass, which they've paved since the last time I drove up through here. Well, this is nice. This was dirt last time. Well, that's a nice little bypass over a temporary bridge situation. And there's the permanent bridge. There. Driving into town a while ago, saw those bridge girders sitting on the side of the road on their oversized load trucks, waiting to head out this way. So hopefully they'll get this one done before winter. You'll see, I won't be here. I am leaving Alaska 4 weeks to the day from the filming of this video. It's hunting season. The hunters along the parks here are thick. Not just these Sunseeker motorhomes in front of me, but so many of the pullouts up this way are just full of rigs and side-by-sides. Also, look at the fall colors as we head further north here. Fall in Alaska. Anyway, we're getting close to Broad Pass, so I will pull off and show you guys just how pretty Broad Pass can be in the fall. We're slightly early, I think, for all the really good colors, but it still should be beautiful. 25 miles to Paxson. We're gonna try and do the whole thing. So as you just saw, we are on a little adventure today. We headed north out of Willow for a couple of hours, and we just left Cantwell. And we are headed up the Denali Highway. I have never driven this road before, so this will be a fun adventure. Theoretically, we are 3 hours and 40 minutes from Paxson. However, I am not expecting to get all the way there today. It is currently 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I imagine that we're going to be taking it a bit slow on the highway. So I did bring all of my camping stuff just in case I decide to make a 2-day trip out of it. So we'll see. The weather is decent. The sun peeked through actually just now for a half second, but it is cloudy and cool. It is 56 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and it's been raining off and on. Currently the road is dry, but the rain is blowing north, so I imagine that I will be seeing some rain here as we go up the Denali Highway. Now this highway, the reason I wanted to do it is it's one of the few highways, quote unquote, that I haven't driven in Alaska. So the previous video, not sure when this video is going to come out in the order, but you saw that I went to the Arctic Circle, so now I can say I've been on the Elliott and the Dalton. There's a couple of roads up in Fairbanks that I would like to drive out still, but the main ones, and so I've done up there. So I'm going to do the Denali Highway, and that will leave me, basically I want to do the road out to Petersville one of these days, and then I want to go out to McCarthy because I still haven't driven the whole of the McCarthy road. I've been on the first mile of it to get to a campground on my trip last year, but I would like to drive all the way out to McCarthy, and then I would also like to drive the road that goes out into Wrangell St. Elias, south from I forget the city where it's at, but it's north of Glen Allen, between Glen Allen and Tok. I forget the city. I'll put it up on the screen if I remember. But I haven't driven that one, the Nabansa Road, I think is what it is. I haven't driven that one yet either, so not going to get to any of those roads on this season, unfortunately, because I think I mentioned it earlier, but I am leaving Alaska 4 weeks from the day that this was filmed, and I just don't have the time. This is basically my last big adventure for the summer before I head back south on the Alaska Highway back down to Utah for the winter. Yeah, so we got this weekend, I'm driving the Denali Highway here, and then next weekend, hopefully Bill and I are going to be putting in my driveway and parking pad on the land, so you guys will get to see that. And then the weekend after that, we'll just be prepping and maybe saying goodbye to visiting some friends, and then the weekend after that, I'm leaving. So yeah, it's coming up quick. Can't believe I've been up here in Alaska for 4 months. Anyway, let me show you the Denali Highway here. Here we are on the Denali Highway. The fall colors are looking gorgeous, so I imagine that it will be a gorgeous trip. Take it pretty slow. I've got my inReach right down there, keeping track of my location, and then I got some family and friends that can look that up. And then I also have my brand new Starlink Mini with me. That's magnet mounted to the roof of my truck, so I will have that with me for the whole trip. And then also it's hunting season, like I think I mentioned in an earlier clip. So I imagine we're going to be seeing quite a few folks along the highway here. I'm not sure if the season's open along here. I haven't read too much into Alaska's hunting seasons and dates and things yet, because I'm not going to do any hunting up here right now. But I'm imagining that we'll see some folks along the highway here, so it's not going to be absolutely desolate. But look how gorgeous it is. I get the feeling that this is going to be another one of those places and trips where the camera, in this case it's the DJI Action 5, just cannot do it justice. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Still gorgeous. Road's a little bumpy. Can't wait to see how the image stabilization on the DJI here is going to be. This is fun. The truck in front of us has got a Jeep or a Suzuki or a side-by-side. I can't tell exactly what it is, but it's got tracks on the 4 tires. That's kind of cool. That's the kind of thing you need if you're going to go back off the road on some of these trails up here. Oh no, it's raining. No. It's fine, it's just sprinkling. One thing I've been thinking about as I've been cruising up the Denali Highway here is thinking about the Taylor Highway up in the northern part of the state that I used to drive. For 2 years I drove that highway for Holland America. I went from Fairbanks out to Eagle, and it was quite similar to this. So just remembering driving a road like this, but instead of my little Toyota Tundra, instead I was driving a 40-foot long motor coach that cost $750,000, full of old people, taking them out to Eagle. Good times. Interesting thing to think about on the vista like this in this area is there's probably people out in this valley right now, but there's no roads, and those the rest of the Alaska range up there is miles and miles and miles and miles and miles away, and there's nothing. Like the next town of Paxton is 100 miles that way. We came from Cantwell, which is, I don't know, 30 or 40 miles that way, and other than that, there's only this one road and then some snow machine side-by-side trails, and that's it. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see or hear me. Yeah, I just love the remoteness and the emptiness. Just check it out. I think that's one thing that I've mentioned before in the Alaska Highway videos. Driving through the most remote sections of the highway, I just love that feeling of, you know, nobody else is around, not a settlement or civilization for 100 miles in either direction. I don't know. I just love it. So when I am living up here, I'm going to have to try and get out and do some adventuring out that way, whether by a snow machine or 6x6 or however it is. Just need to start getting out into the remote parts of Alaska just to spend some time out in the wilderness. Anyway, gonna get back on the road. Alright guys, we're still trekking along, and we're gonna start getting closer to the mountains and a big glacial fed river up here. But I will say that this road is in surprisingly good shape. Sure, there's been sections that have had some potholes, but overall the roads have been in really good shape. And in fact, this is either pavement or it's that kind of pavement where they put down gravel and then compact it down with some sort of bonding thing, because it is a little loose, but there are some parts that feel more like pavement than dirt. But yeah, the road's in surprisingly good shape. I've been able to do the speed limit for the most part, which is 50 miles an hour, for a lot of it. So yeah, very impressed on the condition of the road so far. Got us lodge coming up, but I think it's like it's closed. It's definitely for sale because I see some for sale signs up there. Oh, they've got a waste transfer site here. Nice. For sale. If you guys want to buy this lodge, it's for sale. I'll put the name of that lodge up on the screen. I didn't see what the sign said it was. If you guys want to own a lodge out here, that one's for sale. Get it while you can. Alright, this is fun. Bridge over this river whose name I actually don't know at the moment. It's a one-lane bridge. So nobody waiting to come across, so I'm just gonna go for it. Woo. Show you guys over here. This whole area is lousy with hunters right now. There's hunters everywhere. Oh, it's the Susitna River. I should have known that. Fun. Left, got the Alpine Creek Lodge right up there. Popular destination on this road during the winter for snow machine trips and stuff. Looked like they had a little landing strip and everything up there. I've never stopped in there. Like I said, this is my first time on this road. So someday we'll make a stop in there and see what it's all about. Got 67 miles until we get to the Richardson Highway in Paxson. Just stopped here and FaceTimed my family for a bit. They are all super jealous and was able to do that way out here on the Denali Highway in the middle of nowhere that doesn't have any cell service because of my little Starlink Mini. Anyway, we are going to get back on the road, heading that direction. Alright guys, we are going to be driving into it right now. There is a little storm over there. The highway is going to curve around to the right, so we probably won't get into where all that rain is up there, but you never know. Also, I just hit every single one of those potholes. Yay. pretty it is down the valley there. We're going to be driving all the way down there.
The Denali Highway is a mostly gravel road that extends across a portion of south-central Alaska, stretching from the community of Paxson on the east to the community of Cantwell on the west. Prior to World War II, the residents of Alaska had been pushing for road access to Denali National Park, then known as Mount McKinley National Park, as early as the 1930s. However, the onset of the war delayed any work on the road until the late 1940s. After the war was over, surveys for the then named Paxson-McKinley Park Road began in 1947, with road construction crews breaking ground in 1950 working from both ends of the highway. The surveyed route followed several pre-existing trails for 135 miles or 217 kilometers across the Alaskan wilderness just south of the massive Alaska Range. The road was renamed from Paxson-McKinley Park Road to the Denali Highway in 1952 with the completion of the access road from Cantwell to the park, which today is a part of the Parks Highway. Construction on the Denali Highway continued through 1957, when the highway was officially opened to the public on August 5th. However, in an amusing turn of events, a private vehicle snuck through and completed the first drive of the road on August 2nd. However, that may just be an urban myth. The highway begins as a paved road on both the east and west ends, with the western side paved for 2.6 miles and the eastern side paved for 21.3 miles. The remainder of the road is dirt and gravel. The highest point on the Denali Highway is at McLaren Summit, which rises to 4,086 feet above sea level, which makes it the second highest road in Alaska. Services along the road are sparse, but there are several lodges that are open year-round, as well as a handful that are open during the summer months. The Denali Highway is popular for many different recreational activities, including fishing, hunting, berry picking, bird watching, camping and overlanding, snow machining, dog mushing, and spectacular scenery viewing.
Well, I think we made it, because there was a little bit of civilization just passing by the Tangle Lakes, and we've got actual, striping on the pavement now. So I'm guessing that these last 20 miles or so on the Denali Highway are going to be smooth sailing. By smooth sailing, you mean you're gonna make Matt car sick from all this up and down frost heave action we got going on, and it's been smooth sailing. Oh boy, it's a wavy road through here. I almost prefer we go back to the dirt. If it wasn't cloudy, We have a gorgeous view of the Alaska Range up there. A couple of glaciers, and just see the road up there. Now, whether that's this road or I think that's this road. I don't think that's the Richardson Highway yet. Yeah, if the storm wasn't here, this would be a gorgeous view. Still on the wavy road too. Woo! Guys, here we are, turning on to the Richardson. We made it off of the Denali Highway, and now we're headed south towards Glen Ellen and back towards Willow and the trailer. All right, 4 hours and 20 minutes to get back to the trailer. It is gonna be a late night. We'll get there at about 11. All right. We're going to be turning on to the Glen. Here is Crossroads, or whatever this place is called. Oh, Hub of Alaska. I always forget. Anyway, and that's the most expensive gas station ever. I'm sure you can find more expensive gas in the villages, but it's quite expensive. Anyway, now we have left the Richardson. We are on to the Glen Highway, headed down towards Wasilla, and then we'll drive through Palmer, I guess headed down towards Palmer, and then Wasilla, and then Willow. Boy, you guys missed out. There was 2 moose on the road that I flipped my brights off because just up and around the corner, not too far ahead of me, is another car that I keep seeing. I'll flip my brights on for a minute. But I turned my brights off because I was feeling like I was really close to him. And of course, right after I did that, come around a corner and there's 2 moose standing in the road. Fortunately, they were in the other lane, but I still stood on the brakes pretty good to make sure they weren't going to like dart out in front of me, because yeah, I've got to tow my trailer home with this truck in 4 weeks. I don't have time to total my Tundra by hitting a moose. So yeah, just something to watch out for. That's why so many people up in Alaska, see there's that car up there. That's why so many people in Alaska have light bars and all sorts of lights on their vehicles for driving these highways when it's dark, especially in the wintertime, because the moose just love to walk on the roads in the winter because it's easiest for them, and when it's dark a lot, the more light where you can see moose further away, the better off you are. So when I'm ready to come spend winters up here, I will definitely, whatever vehicle I have, whether it's this Tundra or a different truck, will have light bars installed on it. But yeah, a little adventurous to see a moose just beyond the edge of your headlights. Like I said, good thing they were in the other lane. Alright guys, I just made it back to the trailer. It is a few minutes after 11. Thanks for coming along on this Denali Highway adventure with me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you have any questions or you just want to say something. Share this video with all of your friends. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And we will catch you guys in the next one.